Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Mid-Card Mess Podcast. I am your host, not one, not two, but all three faces of Jamal, and this is your wrestling news. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still on the road to WrestleMania, but that means that holds no merit right now because we're talking about NXT, and NXT is on the road to stand and deliver. But I want to let you guys know that the revolution will be televised because one of AEW's top stars is no longer with the company. Matter of fact, there's several AEW stars that is no longer with the company. And we even got to see one of said stars on NXT this week. So let me just break it down to you for a moment. Let me get into NXT first, and then I'll talk about the trajectory of the AEW stars that did get released and what may not happen to them, in my opinion. All right, so NXT, man. As of yesterday, it was February 11th. It is now February 12th, 2025. Bayley and Cora Jade had a match. Obviously, you know that the triple threat match was going to happen on Vengeance Day on Saturday. And, Bayley's just trying to build some momentum. She already has momentum because prior the night before, she qualified in her qualifying matchup against Lyra Valkyria. So she's headed also to the Elimination Chamber, trying to see if she can win the NXT Women's Championship and then head to the Elimination Chamber, win that match, and then head to WrestleMania as the NXT Women's Champion and become two-belt Bayley yet again. But again, she's got to go through Julia, who's the NXT Women's Champion, and she's got to go through Roxanne Perez. The big takeaway out of this match was not only the fact that Bayley won this match, but Roxanne Perez tried to distract Bayley during this match by coming out in her old gimmick. I'm talking about the Bayley Hugger gimmick. And Roxanne Perez dressed in the Hugger gear, and she came out and tried to distract Bayley, but it was all for naught because Cora Jade still ended up taking the the pinfall. So with that, Ava came and made the triple threat match a fatal four-way match, so that way Cora Jade could get a piece of that smoke, and now we have a fatal four-way at Vengeance Day. So it's going to be the role model Bayley versus Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez versus the NXT Women's Champion Julia at NXT Vengeance Day. So now Obafemi comes out after all that excitement and stuff like that. Fucking Obafemi comes out and cuts a promo, but then he was interrupted by A-Town Down Under, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Theory and Waller argued, but then they said that they would do everything to get the NXT championship. So the arguments basically was like, Grayson Waller's talking about his time in NXT, how he did everything for the company prior to NXT blowing up the way that it did, and like he never got an opportunity to hold the NXT championship. Then Austin Theory also fucking argued, he was like, hey, I've never been NXT champion myself, so I've been United States champion. I've been, I beat John Cena in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania and all this other stuff. And they were just barbing back and forth. He was like, look, I understand you haven't won a singles title, so you wouldn't get it. Grayson Waller was like, well, I'm the reason why we won the tag titles. And then, it was just, they kept arguing. And then they attacked Obafemi. They're hitting A-Town Down Under, hitting the A-Town down, and then Grayson Waller hits a rolling stunner on freaking Obafemi. So they just beat the hell out of Obafemi just to get their frustrations across. But that is going to be a triple threat match that you're going to want to watch on NXT Vengeance Day on Saturday, when Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, and Obafemi fight for the NXT championship. There was a vignette of Eddie Thorpe saying that he was only seeking vengeance now before challenging Trick Williams to a strap match at NXT Vengeance Day. And It's kind of crazy that they're doing this shit on Black History Month, having fucking Eddie Thorpe just beat Trick Willie with the fucking lash. Like, come on, bro, what are we doing? But at the end of the day, it's a good pickup match for Eddie Thorpe. I was a fan of his when he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, so he's just doing NXT things now, so it's okay. With Trick Williams though, it's like a put up or shut up moment because Trick Williams is a former NXT champion himself, so for him being a former NXT champion, like it's time for him to put up or shut up and put himself back in contention for whoever wins the NXT championship at freaking NXT Vengeance Day. So Javon Evans was cleared to compete. There was a video package, and then Ava told Javon that NXT wouldn't be liable for any injuries that happened to him during the match that he's gonna have at Vengeance Day against Ethan Page. Ethan Page has been beating this boy senseless for weeks now. I mean, like breaking his jaw over and over and over again. So you already know there's going to be something that has to do with the jaw. Javon Evans said that he was well prepared for all the smoke, and he and Ethan Page has to settle that shit up. So he's going to handle it. Like Ava told him, NXT is not liable for your injuries, my dude. So, Javon Evans may be bouncy, but, Ethan Page is all legal. So we'll see. There was a 3-way tag match between Josh Bridge and Yoshiki Inamura versus Hank and Tank and No Quarter Catch Crew, represented by Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights. This match was all over the place. Obviously, it's a triple threat tag team match. I was expecting No Quarter Catch Crew to win this match, but Hank and Tank is really good, and as well as Josh Briggs. I'm sorry, I was thinking of his Evolve days. Josh Briggs and freaking Yoshiki Inamura, they looked really awesome as a tandem. Like, I think this was like put together out of nowhere type shit. So like, it is what it is, but they end up winning the triple threat tag match, and then at the end of it, NXT Tag Team Champions Fraxium, Nathan Frazier and Axiom, were watching, and then they basically gave last week Josh Bridges and Yoshiki Inamura freaking challenged Fraxium to an NXT Championship match, but they were like, "Yo, you got to do something first. You got to impress us." We were too busy. They were wrestling NXT Tag Team Championships on TNA, in Impact, and after that moment, like they felt like they had to fucking send a message, and with winning this freaking triple threat tag match, they absolutely did. So they accepted Inamura and Bridges for the challenge from coming up soon. I don't know if it's gonna be, matter of fact, it's actually gonna be at Vengeance Day. So that's another match at Vengeance Day that you're gonna have to watch if you're gonna watch it. So live from Washington DC on February the 15th. A lot of shit going on February 15th. I'm just saying. Izzy Dame and the D'Angelo family spoke backstage about where Stax was apologetic about freaking living up to his name, but D'Angelo told Stax to forget about it and then just just kind of relax and everything like that. So the D'Angelo family is basically trying to be this one big happy-go-lucky family type stuff, but you'll see what I'm talking about afterwards. Lexis King and JDC Fandango, for those that don't know. JDC representing TNA. They wrestled for the Heritage Cup, and Lexis King defeated JDC, and it was a good match. Like, I haven't seen JDC look this good in quite some time, even on Impact. Like, this was like, he was really wrestling his ass off here, but Lexis King is just that dude right now, and he's got the Heritage Cup. He's probably gonna turn it to he's probably going to turn it into a European title eventually. It's going to stop being a cup and it's going to start being a title. So I don't know how they're going to handle that. I wonder if the Heritage Cup is going to be in the NXT portion of WWE 2K25. I'm not sure. So yeah. Fatal Influence then came out and walked around backstage before Kalani Jordan confronted them, saying that she wanted a shot at the NXT North American Championship after NXT Vengeance Day. Jada Parker then said she deserved a shot, but then Ashanti the Adonis with Carmen Petrovic said that they deserved a shot. And, with Fatal Influence, it's like, that's probably going to be a 6-woman tag match down the line. Especially it's going to be interesting because we know Fatal Influence is tight-knit unit with Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and Jasmine Nix, but putting them against all the challengers or the would-be challengers such as Jada Parker and Carmen Petrovic and Kalani Jordan, who's got a new mean streak, by the way. Everybody's just gunning for this NXT North American Championship. So Zaria with Soruka defeated Nikita Lyons, and this was a match that people were looking forward to, but Zaria was just too damn good. Nikita Lyons couldn't handle all that fucking strength that Zaria got. So Zaria's been on a roll for a last couple weeks and stuff. There was a vignette where Ethan Page said that he would make Javon Evans look for a new career because this is not going to be it for him, and he will break his jaw and all that other stuff. Like I said, he's been smoking Javon Evans for weeks now. So, it's going to be interesting to see. Javon Evans, that boy may be bouncy, like I said, but, does he have that dog in him? And I hope that he does because, at NXT Vengeance Day, it's going to be a fucking thing. Sarah Screever then interviewed Trick Williams in the ring where he accepted Eddie Thorpe's challenge from earlier, so they're going to have that strap match at NXT Vengeance Day. After that, the AEW star in question, or one of them at least, Ricky Starks, appeared in the crowd and declared that he wanted to turn the place upside down. The revolution will be televised, man. I just saw Ricky Starks a couple weeks ago, man, and that boy is fucking electric. He had a match with Charles Mason at the HOG show. So, man, and he's the Defy champion right now. So, he's still got to fucking do those shits. He just won the Defy championship. So, him being at NXT and being part of NXT, it's only, man, Ricky Starks, I can't wait to see what he does in NXT, all the matchups that he has coming to him, and then eventually going into the main roster, because he will make the main roster. It's not a matter of if, it's just only when. And I just want him to showcase what AEW is missing when it pertains to this. Julia and Stephanie Vaquer met backstage and they wish each other luck on their matches on NXT Vengeance Day, because Stephanie Vaquer is facing Fallon Henley for the NXT North American Women's Championship, and then obviously Julia is wrestling in that big new Fatal 4-Way at NXT Vengeance Day. Finally, the steel cage match, last match of the night, is the main event. It was the North American Championship, Tony D'Angelo versus Ridge Holland in a steel cage, and this match had everything that they wanted. But at the end of the day, Tony D'Angelo defeats Ridge Holland with the one-arm spine buster and wins the match. But Ridge Holland attacks Stacks and Luca Crucifino from ringside, and then Sean Spears, Nico Vance, and Brooks Jensen came out and appeared. Izzy Dame attacked D'Angelo with a crowbar, turning her back on the crew, and then basically D'Angelo gets fucking, fucked up. He just got beat the hell up. And Sean Spears with the chair. So Sean Spears, Brooks Jensen, and Nico Vance, along with Izzy Dame, are a new group, a new faction, and whatever not. So my only problem with this is that they're building up too many fucking factions right here. This is almost New Japan territory. This is Dragon's Gate territory, Pro Wrestling Noah territory, where we're getting OD factions. Oh, excuse me. I don't mind factions, but the whole thing with the factions is that it has to work, and there has to be a good faction and there has to be a bad faction. There's a lot of bad factions out there. When I say bad factions, I'm talking about heel factions. Everybody loves a heel faction, but the faction is only as good as their counterparts, and we don't have any good babyface factions at all. Where's the babyface factions at? I don't see it. I really don't see it. Some of these factions are de facto turning into tag teams because of injuries and stuff. So, whatever they decide to do, I don't know. But, is it gonna launch the careers of like Izzy Dame? Is it gonna give Brooks Jensen, who's Bull Buchanan's son, a chance? Is it gonna give Nico Vance a spotlight to do something? uh, one can only hope for the best, but I guess the D'Angelo family will be that babyface faction that people want to fucking, get behind. But as of right now, I don't see it. I really don't. All these factions. Then they got that other faction with the four guys. That's like they got some shit going on at NXT Vengeance. Are they gonna debut together? I mean, no quarter catch crew. If they add one more person, they could have a solid faction too. But like again, so many factions, right? There's not enough TV time for all these goddamn factions. So I'm just saying. All right, so that's going to be it for me today. Oh, before I go, I have to talk about the AEW releases. So obviously Ricky Starks was one of those releases. Miro got released out of his contract, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see Rusev Dudley, Rusev Machka. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him sometime soon in the WWE or anywhere else. Actually, I would love to see Rusev versus some of the guys in TNA. And if he joins TNA, guess what? He's de facto into freaking NXT again because they have that partnership. Anybody that leaves and goes to TNA, or anybody that's in TNA, has an opportunity to wrestle somebody from WWE due to the partnership with WWE. So that's going to be fantastic if they were able to do that. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. Sorry for the short show, but I really do have to go. I have to go train today. I'm training at the House of Glory Academy, freaking, Amazing Red School, Brand XL, and everybody that's over there. I'm trying to get my body ready, so I gotta really go. For everyone that does listen to the Midcard Mess podcast, I appreciate you. There's nothing but gratitude. If and when this blows up, then you every single time that I come on this microphone and talk about freaking the Midcard Mess podcast, or even talk about pro wrestling with you guys, more than just WWE stuff. It's all AEW stuff, TNA stuff, New Japan stuff, CMLL, AAA. It doesn't matter. If it's pro wrestling, I'm going to be able to talk about it. Yeah, man, because, we love this shit. And I love this shit so much that I'm going to try to do this shit. So who knows what that looks like in the future, but I just hope that my wrestling journey doesn't affect my podcasting journey. So I mean, the podcast is 4 years old now, but I only have this many episodes because I've been locked in all year, and I'm going to continue to be. So thank you for everything, and I will see you guys on the next one. So peace.